So this is day 103, post-COVID. As you can see, my eyes are red and sore and tired and achy. Throat sore, voice is a bit gravelly, as you can hear. Breathlessness is okay today, not too bad. As long as I'm not up and down the stairs to the bathroom, tend to just be relatively stable. Pain in my chest and in my back on the left hand side, almost like it's a through and through from back to front. Better than it was last night, thanks to the cocodamol, which I don't like having to take, but sometimes it's just too much. So last night, this weird thing started with my face that doesn't seem to be visibly evident, but I've got this strange intermittent twitching that's all in this sort of area of my face and into my eye socket. The left hand side of my face just feels strange, really hard to explain. Yeah, it's like I'm conscious of this side of my face. Almost feels a little swollen or weirdly numb. I don't know. I can't describe it. But it's just literally the left side. It started after tea last night. And I just, as I am now, just really, really sleepy and weak and achy. A little bit of heaviness and numbness in my right arm. Mouth feels sore today again. No obvious ulcers, but sore, my tongue sore. There's no coating today. A little bit of earache, swollen glands, tinnitus. Just a myriad of weird and wonderful symptoms. I had a strange experience a few weeks ago in the garden where my right arm was sort of numb but tingling, very heavy. Felt really weak, like I was going to pass out. So I lay down on the lounger, didn't have my phone, had left it in the kitchen. And then my lower lip went all numb and it felt like it was being dragged. There was like a really intense dragging, pulling down feeling. More on the left side, centre sort of to the left. Really freaked me out. I was by myself, so my phone was in the kitchen. Didn't want to risk getting up because I really thought I was going to faint. So I just lay there with my eyes shut on the lounger and just tried to breathe and relax and not panic because I didn't really have any other choice. And I know that roughly that it was around, I think, 4-ish on the clock in the kitchen when I left to go back in the garden. And I heard Graham next door arrive back in his truck, which is usually around 4:30, by which time it had subsided. So it went on for maybe half an hour and it just left me really, really wiped out. So I think I had a little nap on the lounger and then sort of came round again and it had gone. Just felt rubbish. So I've not had a repeat of that as yet, other than getting this weirdness I just feel really weird. My body just feels like there's a sort of an electric current running through it. Like I've had a load of coffee, even though I've had no caffeine today. You know, I'm hydrating, I'm having my electrolyte water, I'm having my vitamin D, vitamin C, my B12. I'm trying to eat as reasonably well as I can. Peppermint tea with ginger and lemon in it. I'm having blueberries in the morning, turmeric. Just trying to be as sensible as I can. But it just goes on and on and on. So I emailed my doctor now with an explanation as best I could. I'm not coughing as much today. There is coughing still, but it's not as bad as it has been. So that's at least an improvement. But my throat just gets all, so when I'm chatting, I can feel my voice worsening and my throat getting irritable and the breathlessness, and then that happens. Which really, really hurts. Really sets my chest off more. That was relentless. That's the first symptom. And it just went on and on and on, which is how we suspected COVID. I was offered a test at week 12 through the Zoe app as a volunteer. Thought it's going to be negative, what's the point? But then thought, well, at least it's research. So I went to Manchester Airport, which was an experience in itself, to the car park, to the testing station. Had the swab done in my nose and throat. It was negative, as expected. No antibody test as yet. As I say, I've emailed the doctor to explain as much as I can from day one and ask about blood tests, chest scans, MRI, just to see if there's anything sinister going on, blood clots, inflammation in the lungs, any damage, any legacy. All the post-viral stuff and the fatigue, etc. is obviously familiar because of the ME. So I can deal with that side of sort of rehabilitation, convalescing, but it's the chest pain and it's the cough and the breathlessness that is more of a worry. And sometimes my heart just feels like it's going to pound out of my chest and my whole being. Like I can feel my pulse resonating around my whole body. And it's not so much that it's necessarily always super fast. It's just so intense. It's really sort of unsettling. So yeah, that's me. Say day 103. I'm waiting to hear from the doctor to see if I can go for any tests or whatever. A lot of people are finding they're coming back clear and it's not explaining anything, but at least if that's ruled out, I can concentrate on rehabilitation. I just hate the thought of a ticking time bomb. People are experiencing clots, having strokes. Say the weird experience in the garden. Phil sort of said, oh, what if it was a TIA? But I assume if the doctor thinks along those lines, he'll investigate. along with all the weird stuff that's going on. But yeah, if I can clear any fear of having cardiac issues, obviously any lung issues, any clots, kidney, then that will be peace of mind at least, and point more towards general inflammation and post-viral issues, which obviously I've got some handle on dealing with from 24 years of ME, that this is my reality. You know, everybody's saying how awful it is to feel like this, to be so debilitated, for everything to be such an effort. That's been my world, on and off for 24 years. Yeah, I've had my good patches, but I've also had some dark times with it. So that's all too familiar, sadly, but at least I feel equipped to deal with that side of it more than most, perhaps, which is something. And I'm trying to support and advise where I can that people need to rest and pace and give their bodies a chance. Basically, reminding myself that I've got to take my own advice and do the same, which is sometimes easier said than done. So yeah, it was dark. The first few weeks were difficult. The breathlessness was horrendous. I really did think that this was it, that this was my time. I was trying hard to fight because I didn't want this to be the end. But at the same time, I had this strange sense of making peace with the fact that if this was it, then there was not really anything I could do. Wasn't deemed to be severe enough to be hospitalised. I wasn't gasping, could speak more than a few words, lips weren't turning blue, which is what 111 said was the criteria for taking you into hospital at that stage. But yeah, some really frightening nights and days where I just didn't know whether this was going to be it, whether I'd wake up the next day worrying about how Phil would cope, friends and family, the kids, because they're not being touched at the moment. It was really, really distressing, and it still gets to me now. A little bit of maybe PTSD. I don't know, you don't expect to ever be in a situation where you're facing your mortality like that, that you actually fear this could be it. But I'm here. I've survived up to this point. I may be in the shit and feel ill and have all this stuff going on that nobody understands, but I'm alive and I've fought back thus far, and I'll continue to fight as hard as I can, like I've always done. Look for solutions, go down a holistic path, just try and support my body and give myself a fighting chance to get better, like the thousands of people that I'm in the groups with. Feel for everybody, every single one going through this, and certainly everybody who's never experienced ME or CFS, any post-viral issues, because it's such a shock to the system to be vibrant and driven and motivated and busy and active and have all that just ripped from under you the blink of an eye. It's difficult. It's difficult emotionally and mentally. It's difficult financially. Your family, your friends, people, they don't believe that you're that ill. It's like, how could you possibly be that poorly? You know, they'll look at you and say, oh, you look really well, because you don't always look as bad as you feel. And it's hard. It's hard to not have that recognition. So It's tough for everybody. I have the ME to contend with, as well as this COVID stuff that's just wreaking havoc in my body. Hopefully the doctors will find some answers and be able to rule out anything more sinister, that there'll be no blood clots or long-term damage or issues. And it's just a case of recovery, which is going to take time. But we've got to stay positive. The groups have been amazing. Support on there, the understanding, the advice, just knowing that other people get it. And those that are rooting for us in all the interviews, the medical professionals, Professor Paul Garner, Dr. Jake, amongst many, many more that have been at the front line flying the flag. And obviously Dan, who's been fantastic in setting up the group and keeping everybody positive and motivated. You're all amazing people. And it's thanks to you that we're all getting that support and being heard, even if it's just amongst ourselves. But the media have picked up on it now. It's interviews. Most days there's something in the newspapers, radio. On the television. And it's really encouraging to see that we're being represented and people are starting to take notice. So hopefully the next time I decide to do this, and this is a first, I've never done it before, but really felt like I needed to have a voice to document where I'm at. And then in the future, the next time maybe I post a video like this, I'll be wide-eyed and bright-eyed and looking rather more fit and healthy and alert, past all the brain fog and confusion and ridiculous memory loss and the mixing up words. The effort to just channel your thoughts, to put it out there, lay yourself bare, looking oh so glamorous. I'm missing interacting with my friends and family. I'm not up to chatting on the phone and messaging and just really out of the loop, but I'll get there. So for all of you out there that are dealing with this, just stay strong, stay positive, take each day as it comes, rest when your body's telling you it needs to. Seek the medical advice you can, persevere with your doctors for answers, join the groups, get the support, know that there's plenty of us out there that understand and that are rooting for you and are trying to represent, trying to get our voices heard, so that eventually we can all get our lives back from this horrible virus. So for now, I'm going to sign off and go for a much needed rest and sleep, and hope that next time I post it'll be better news and I'll be a little bit brighter than this. Take care, everybody. Catch you later.